Have we finished?
Abdul, you will travel to England, to the royal household. You will present the Queen with a ceremonial coin.
Whatever you do, you must not look at Her Majesty.
Hello, this is Suman Bhuchar of AsianCultureVulture.com. We're here at the Odeon Leicester Square for a premiere of a new film, Victoria and Abdul.
I'm trying to contain my excitement a little. I hope that's playing out fine. It's not too embarrassing, but yeah.
I'm loving the soles of your shoes, but serious question. Stephen Frears said that for the character of Abdul, they wanted somebody with amazement and wonder. Is this your first time you've filmed in England? And all?
This was my first time I came to England on this film. So it's pretty much like what you're going to see inside. It was very exciting. And then meeting royalty, which is Judi Dench. So yeah, I like to think it was pretty much like what happened back then.
You must be very excited seeing a book turn into a film.
Of course, it's my first book that's been made into a film, so yes, that's very, very exciting.
What is so special about Abdul Karim and the relationship between him and Victoria?
Well, because he spent 13 years as her closest confidant. He was a young Muslim from India, he was a commoner, and the fact that he meant so much to her, that he taught her Urdu, that he told her about Indian politics, he played a key role in the royal court. It's never happened before, and it's never happened since. So I think it's very, very important, and that we know these stories.
To be part of such a new process, I've never been part of a process, never been part of a biography, a biopic before, and that changes just the making of the film, the approach to it. So,
tell us how you found Ali Fazal to play Abdul Karim.
Well, we saw an awful lot of people in India, and they came and did, auditions for Stephen. I think we all just got more amazed by him. He has such a sort of charm and an ease, and a sense of humour about it that we just knew straight away that he was Abdul.
Did you shoot in Osborne House? All those.
We did 3 weeks in Osborne. I think that was one of my favorite parts. Just being in that corridor. I remember day one and just looking at that portrait of Abdul Karim. I thought it was surreal.
How did you discover his story?
Oh, well, it was a long haul. I knew a little bit about him, and then I went to Osborne House. I knew Queen Victoria liked curries from an earlier book, and then I went to Osborne House on the Isle of Wight, and I saw his portraits painted there, and he was painted like a nobleman. He wasn't a servant, so that got me thinking. I'm a very curious journalist.
What is the point?
Service, Your Majesty. We are here for a greater purpose.
You are a servant no longer. You will teach me Urdu and the Qur'an.
So, were you able to teach Dame Judi Dench some Urdu?
Oh, you should ask her. Urdu's good now. She could write, she could say the words, sentences, proper sentences. Yeah, of course. We tried. We used to try and get as much time as we could, I think, in the middle and rehearse our lines, because I think both of us came from schools of just rehearsal, and thorough rehearsal. She's done so much stage in her life. I've done a little. So I think we were both worried. Me being worried, I practically ended up, learning up the whole script by the end of it. So I was, just trying to be at par.
So you said you came across the diary from his descendants. Does his family know about this film?
Oh, yes, they do. They're very, very excited. They can't wait to see it when it opens in India and in Pakistan.
What do you think the film says to us in today's Britain, the relationship between Queen Victoria and Abdul Karim?
Well, I think it's really important, the fact that Queen Victoria learnt Urdu. I mean, I think that itself says a lot, that she could read and write in Urdu. I think, when Asian people get to know that, because it's something people don't know, I think they'll feel rather proud that, okay, she learned Urdu. That's, it's something to take home with you. I think it's very endearing. And I think these stories are really important for, we live in Britain, such a multicultural society. We need to know how we played a role in history in the past.
Is it true that when she finished her dinner, everybody else's plates were taken off?
Yeah, that's true. there's these wonderful descriptions of the whole, and the menu that they served in the film was a menu I found of a huge thing. So all the little details are the things that people like me love. I was just amazed that it's something that we didn't know. And part of the story of the film and the subsequent events was that it was really buried by the British establishment, because they were really, the sort of the level of hatred and racism towards Abdul was quite profound. And that's what I wanted to write about, because surprising to me that Queen Victoria really stood up, and that's what the film's about, to that racism and xenophobia. And so it seemed an important story, but an important model that it's not everybody in the British establishment who was so reactionary, and I wanted to celebrate that, really.
Upset the order of everything.
Drop this Indian peasant, or we will have you certified insane.
Treason!
Tell us how you got into the role of Bertie.
I got into the role. I read about him, great biography, Jane Ripley's biography. It's really his childhood. I was very keen to know what led up to this antipathy between Victoria and Bertie, because they really didn't get on. And it is the way Victoria and Albert brought up Bertie. They brought him up in a bad way, not good. He saw his parents for 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes in the evening, just that. So that's not a good thing. He made one connection with one teacher, and then the teacher was whisked off to somewhere else. So he was not allowed to mingle with other kids. This kid was already screwed up. Bertie was screwed up before he hit his 20s.
It's very difficult being an older adult sibling where you're waiting to be king and your mother keeps living for a long time.
Well, for him, he really didn't like it. I think, Queen Victoria had been queen for so long. And Bertie just wanted, he said, can I have a go with the ball? Can I play with the ball?
I am cantankerous, greedy, fat. I am perhaps disagreeably attached to power, but I am anything but insane.
With Abdul Karim, the Abdul character, Bertie didn't really like him. Did you know this from any of his letters or things, or was it something that Lee Hall wrote in the story?
No, it's from the letters. It's a truth that he did burn all the memoirs, all the letters between the two of them, and sent people out to India to burn, to break in the house and burn letters. So, and you could take this as racist, but I think it's even more than that. It's just a hatred of anyone who's going to get in the way and give Victoria an extra lease of life. He probably gave her an extra 10 years of living. She was on her way down, and suddenly, if you watch the film, you'll see Judy portray this. We weren't there filming it as a documentary, so we can't tell, but this wonderful life, this youthful thing that comes over her, which Judy portrays that wonderfully, and that is what Abdul Karim gave her.
A little surprise.
What is it?
A mango, Your Majesty.
It's off. Sir Henry, this mango is off.